Sanibona emakhaya igama lami Scelo Ngubane. I'm inspirational speaker. Today we have our special guest. Please introduce yourself, sir.
Umfoka Bongani sanibonana umthimkhulu umashe amahle. Uradebe sephelele ubongane indoda emfiliji indoda saxophone. Thank you so much for having me, dog.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Kuqala kuphi ukudlala imfiliji and what inspired you to study it?
Qalaphi vele. Yazi qalaphi ne. In my secondary school I had an opportunity to join the music class with under Sengam.
Okay.
Then I learned my first instrument was a piano.
Oh.
So from there on, they promoted us sadlala clarinet. So I studied clarinet and music theory. So we were corresponding ne unis. And then from there on, with the qualification, I didn't even finish with unis. I would say I dropped out because I got scale and then I couldn't finish unis.
Okay.
And then I went to the late Johnny Mekwa here. La in David
Bashet.
Is it Bashet? Yeah, like
opposite the smart you did.
Not that one.
Not that one.
What do you call this place, man? Ngale Petfontein.
Oh, okay.
Yes, the late Johnny Mekwa. So
yeah.
I remember ngilana mangibuya ngapekasi because bengihlala time mangibuya like us. One day I'm like, yeah, I need to find work. I walked in a short.
Yeah.
Clarinet. I went to the school. And then they're like, what can you do? I pulled out my instrument. I started playing the clarinet. Turned out like in my lamp. And then he went to Orlando, both Steve and the other guys. And then they listened to me play and they loved my playing. And that's how I got the opportunity to actually start teaching them. So I was teaching the music theory. And then what happened was that one day I saw a kid playing saxophone. I was like, let me try that out. And I played the saxophone. Mangidlala usis lobe angibhekile angimamela athi I think if you can play this instrument you sound nice on it. And then that's how it started.
Wow.
I dropped ngayeke umsebenzi and then I went to training. For 3 years I passed. Bengidlala ema training.
Yo, yes. And the idea yokuthi yoqala kugado, what inspired it?
Nothing inspired it, man. I think it was about growth. One thing I know for a fact, if you want to grow your craft that has to do with people, then you have to practice it in front of people.
Yo.
I learned the psychology of music, the psychology behind people, how they receive the music. But yes, the most important thing in this transaction is that I'm able to communicate with your soul. So regardless of how you're feeling, your problems and all that, I have to bypass all of that. Service, and that was one of the fundamental things I learned my training, because we have abantu abakhathela bangafuni next bazibuyele endaweni zabo and then when uyafika training salmanane ubongani uRadebe kamthimkhulu abahle and then you start playing, people don't care, but they will definitely care enough in terms of how you made them feel. There's one of the quotes that says they will forget what you said, what you did, but they'll never forget how you made them feel.
Wow.
And one of the fundamental basics about my music is that I spread healing, and my slogan says, give me the stage and I'll give you my heart.
Wow.
That's all I'm doing. Ispansa mileso nje. Ngiyasevisa mina imiphefumulo, ngiyapholisa abantu, ngiyabajabulisa, so yeah.
And you've played in different stages, big stages,
yes.
Big names.
Yeah.
Where do you when you went maybe to perform, where did you feel like, oh, this was big for me? When did you start having those breakthrough of big stages?
I wouldn't call it a breakthrough, but I've been in bigger stages. I remember one time they didn't even book me in this place. Elon Tuzen. Joburg Zoo, Joburg Jazz Zoo, something like that.
Okay.
And Vusnova was booked, and so someone else was booked, but Vus was delaying. I took fig or fig, and then I had to go cover for him.
Wow.
So mang figa la piano. Nothing was prepared for me. They gave me a mic, sharp. And then I went in during like my pume artist, then I'll go in. I went in first time, it's like 40,000 people 40 or more. Like I went in a babas. I killed the whole. Listen, I had them on the palm of my hand. The whole crowd, and it was like it was so unique because I didn't expect this to happen. I killed, and then like one more, I went in. So all snippets were like I was that guy. I probably performed more than some of the guys were booked there, you know. And then Java came in. I went in with him. We already had a song, I think, by then. I went in with him. Oh, actually together. But I went in with him also there. So it was one of the greatest days. And then I think one of the biggest stages also was when we did the one-man show, Nos Java.
Yeah, I wanted to come to Java.
Yeah.
Where did you guys click? Because the two of you, the combination is strong.
Java, we met when I went to the summers.
Okay.
So we met backstage. So Nos Java, we share the same name.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So Bongani so too. So hey, Fred, you must come to the studio. I'm like, aye, feelings of figure. So he took my number.
Wow.
And then I think 6 months after or 7 months, I'm not quite sure when. That's when he hit me up. Yo, what are you doing? I'm like, nothing. Come to the studio. I hit up the guys I'm standing me in the studio. I went to the studio. Man figure la piano. I was with myself, Mnare, Utumelo also. AMG was there. And then the song was already sent to me, but I've never played on it or anything. I just listened to it. I was like, okay, sharp, you know. And it was not being a it didn't weigh that much. It didn't carry the much value that the song is now. Candle specifically.
Oh yeah.
Yes. And then we got the AMG. I started playing the hook, the pre-chorus, and then that's when we started, you know. And then we built the song from there, went in with my verse, and then that was it. End of it.
Yo.
And then I say Pumingoma, then there was a huge build up and a blow up from that.
Wow.
Yes.
And when you play, you give yourself and you dedicate yourself. Or would you say you change character? Is there Upungane that you transform to be when you start playing? Because there's so much of you that you're giving.
To be honest, I'm selfless. So I don't change to anything, but I become selfless.
Yo.
Because it's art of worship. You know, most people will ask me, why do you close your eyes? Because I'm not there. If I'm gonna be present in what I'm doing, then there's gonna be a clash because I'm probably wondering, oh, look at that. So I transit to another place and then I just deliver. So I would say I'm more selfless whenever I'm playing the instrument because I go to another dimension to be able to deliver this.
Yo. Yes. And you're saying you're healing people and what they go through through music so that they can be able to be themselves.
Sure. So my angazi ukuthi umsebenzi ongiwenzayo yini sekwazi umdali nokuthi the person makalapho to meet me on the day or to listen to me umsebenzi ongiwenzayo uyenzekile empilweni yakhe. More or less.
So lesiso I recommend ukuthi ungasayeki isex. Do you still talk to her or that was one incident?
No, we were not friends. And the only reason I listened to her is because she's one of the saxophonists on type saying.
Oh.
One of the known best cat saxophonists actually that we have in the country. So that's the only reason I listened to her. You know? It was not a Jolo or a crash, no.
Okay.
It was because she's the best saxophonist.
Coming from her, it must mean something.
You know, so I was like, okay, cool, let me try it out.
Wow. So what are you working on currently?
Currently, this year this is what I wanted to do, guys. I want to release 100 songs towards my catalog. So whatever that I can do, because I'm not limited by genre or anything, so I can do whatever that I want to do. So I want to deliver 100 songs and give it to the public, you know, because the most problem is that people find my songs and whenever they need something more, it's limited. I only have 2 albums out, the Buele Kaya and the Sexual Edition Volume 2. So And then I've worked, Perit, I've worked Schobel, I've worked Usjava, I've worked with all these other guys, So it's mixed masala. So there's no umuntu angeke athi ufuna ukumamela i-gospel song bese athi ufuna a follow up of that. There's nothing online,
okay.
Athi umamela piano, there's a follow up on. There's nothing on that apart from the other songs, which I'm Afro Pop. I've released an actual album for that,
Oh, okay.
So my plan is to use a catalog whereby I know what everyone is taken care of. Yeah, so that's that.
So, in terms of music and artist, Mzansi, what do you think are the opportunities there for young talent like you're teaching music? What's there for an upcoming artist to look forward to?
What's there for an upcoming artist?
Yeah.
Stage to perform. Actually, that's also a bit difficult because the more people we have, the narrow it is for people to have a breakthrough. Even if more people can have a breakthrough, the narrow it is for them to make a living out of it.
Yeah.
So there's always that challenge. So I would say for an upcoming musician, you need to be versatile and then you need to be open-minded.
Okay.
You need to study the business of where is the money. There are people who do it for the fame, and then they become frustrated because they don't have the money to maintain the fame. Then there's a problem, So I would say the basics of it is the music, the business in terms of around the music. Okay. Where is the money? Immediately when you can allocate where is the money, why would someone pay me? It's because of your influence and your engagement. Once you understand that, then you know where to position yourself, where money will find you.
Okay.
I often see mang send a quotation when people are like, no, this is too much. It's not about the fact that you're charging them too much money. It's about the fact that you are not relevant or you don't have enough proof of your value.
Oh, to them.
Yeah.
Okay.
So in other words, that means there's more work that needs to be done in terms of elevating my value for them to not even question to like, actually this is cheap.
Yeah,
do you understand?
Knowing the value that you're bringing, yeah.
So it's more about that. I meet a lot of kids where they're like, I want to go into music and rap and what. And I'm like, how's your social media? How many followers do you have? What's the engagement? Like, no, it's coming. But I'm like, that's where you need to start. That's the starting point, So in the olden days, it was difficult for musicians or for people in the art space because the mainstream media was responsible to break through talent.
Okay.
But now the power has shifted because social media has given the power to us.
Yes.
Social media now controls the mainstream media. The mainstream media would want to publish something that is actually trending. Journalists would want to write about something earlier trend go tweet and all of that.
So they follow the social media.
Yes. Now social media is the giant of today that carries much more power and control.
Yeah, that's so profound.
Yeah. So now a lot of people don't understand it. They're like, if I can be on TV, if I can get an interview.
And things have changed now.
And I'm like, that's not it. It's not, that is not gonna get you there. Most of the time, I'll interview a TV. Listen, bro, I've done quite a number of interviews. And I know it's always difficult to tell a story. And then you end up programming yourself to telling a story in a nutshell to say, done. It's about you, Uvel and TV. It's not about you selling yourself.
Yes.
And it's just so difficult to sell on the platform as a TV, So that's the problem. So now power is in the hands. I feel like an upcoming musician, upcoming whatever, should start on the social media. Work your social media. Work your social media. Post more, And once you blow up there, it's much easier for TV to want you. You're going to be in demand once you blow up. So that's that.
And those things change just in front of our eyes because TV just yesterday was the biggest thing ever.
Yeah, TV was influential.
And now we must unlearn.
Listen, if I can tell a company to pay me a fee for them to be on my page, that's when you know what the power has shifted. At first you'll have your companies paying a television to say, I'll pay you 3 million for a slot of 10 seconds. Now it's the power is in our hands to say, no, give me 25,000 and I'll do a reel for you, which is 30 seconds or 1 minute. And then let's start promoting your thing, So the
Wow.
power is in our hands. Once we understand that,
The rest is history.
sibalekile.
Wow.
But most people are behind. Most people are doubtful. Most people, like there's just so much in terms of struggles. But they are struggling apparently also. So I think they're short-sighted also because of where they are in their lives.
And the support also when you, Ekaya, they saw you doing music. How was the support and encouragement about the decision?
Well, there was the support. There was no support, man. Because okay, let me not say there was no support. Nkule in the house whereby we would sing Uma no Baba, Sizokula, and then we'll be there outside. Actually, Umama and myself will be singing. Uh, outside, it's me, my mother, and my sister. So cool. But here you are bimba when mele type ehlala ibhimba. Andiyathanda
Bimba.
ufaka ibase,
Okay.
I remember there was an organ endlini, when I was very young, tried out banko, suka lapho nanani, So I think those are some of the things that play a major role. And my mother was a beautiful singer, So in terms of support, I wouldn't say there was support, there was no support. Because also when I started the Gen of Music, because I started staying on my own when I was 14, And then,
Whoa.
so that on its own, yeah, man. So I was building this thing. Now I had no idea what it is, what I was doing. It was just, it was an ability to say, I'm capable of playing this thing.
Wow.
So let me do it. I'm able to do this. So,
But what keeps you grounded? Because another thing about you, you're still humble.
Yeah.
I mean, last time I was looking at the video where you
Yes.
were playing for Figure Sins, and I was
Yes.
like, yo, Bongani,
Yeah.
hamba Bongani. But you're
Yes.
still grounded. We out here. We
Sure.
can even still stay now as Pussy Kingsley.
I think
yeah.
what keeps me grounded, it became, so one thing I know for a fact, I'm going to be huge.
Wow.
That I know.
Wow.
Mo Joseph. I know I'm going to be huge. I know there's a bigger stage for me. And one of the biggest questions was, how am I going to act when I have people who are willing to serve me for free, who are willing to express their love, how much they're influenced by me and all of that, was one of the biggest things I had to question,
Okay.
And I remember one of the people who led me in terms of the industry was Lance, and I'll ask him a lot of times, you never see yourself when you're losing yourself, Especially there was a prime time between 2016 and 17, in terms of the people I was with, there was a lot of noise around. I know a couple of times when I lost my steps, and I also growing to a whole different being and understanding how it works, understanding how being famous, I would say I had my foot inside, and being famous where you are in demand, where you get into a place, people are screaming. And often we don't understand why people are screaming.
Wow.
And all of that, you never understand why is that happening. And it gets to us as people who are given that opportunity. It gets to us. And I mandulo, ibashaya ngobunengi. But those are one of the things, and it's one of the biggest things I always prayed about, and I still pray about it, to say, it's one of my affirmations to say, God, keep me humble. Because I do not understand what is being humble in fullness of it. So asking a higher power to keep me grounded, that's the best thing I can do.
And granted you are.
You understand? So, because as human beings, the only thing we can do is enjoy ourselves in that moment and be ourselves. And if it feels like I'm treated like a king, I want to be a king.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's more based on the higher power to do its work, to say, to humble me and giving me the wisdom to understand and to also discern and be able to see what what, I'm losing it here, And I've been in those places where you're like, from primary school, I've always had people who followed me.
Yo.
I've always had people, I was famous from primary school, Bang Bizuma Shelin.
Okay.
But I also had an entourage.
Why
and an influence.
Michelin?
but I'll tell you the story.
Okay.
I had an entourage, I had an influence in terms of being a type like school in primary. I sing, giling, and then the whole crowd of kids will follow and sing with
Wow.
me. That time, you typing a kid. So I had people also who took care of me, and then there was Malbis and all of that. So, what happened? How did I get the name Mashele? Was because we're asked to contribute towards e-polish.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, makhandlela. So in the Polish, you clean class, and then I contributed shilling at mem. No guy shilling. Then 9 cent the guy in amongst after break. I think mem was mem figure if I'm not mistaken. I was like, from now on, name is Mashele. Because I was that guy, I was the clown of the school. What do you expect? If they have a name to get to me, Mashelen was the name,
Yo.
I'll walk, you call a man, Mashelen. That fame, I was like, how did this get here,
Wow.
So I became that kid. Also, transitioning Mange secondary, I didn't stay this side, I stayed Eguatem.
Okay.
And I also found my fame, but I also always had people who were willing to serve me. People were willing to say, this is the guy, I follow this guy, Babang really class in no man wrong. No, say there's a good friend of mine, Adolphus. He wants that Amina Kolela Bongani say, Radebe is correct, So,
Is it?
Yeah, so I always had that. So also I feel like also it's more of a training of where I'm going in my life, When you become more influential, you always have people that you have to look after and that are looking after you.
Yes.
And so it's one of those things. So granted, man, I will say it's an ongoing work which Unkulunkulu is executing in my life to say, how best do we go about
and
this?
and the positive self-talk. I love the fact that you speak very, very positive to yourself and about yourself, including your future self.
Yes.
When did you realize the importance of self-talk?
Grade 9. I would say I was enlightened in grade 9.
Okay.
That's when also I knew where I was going with my life. That's why I knew also, Guti, there's so much difference between me and the other kids. Because I'm from grade 9. So a lot of things came at the time. It's like with Joseph.
So why were you staying alone?
Because so what happened, parents died.
Oh, sorry about that. Okay.
Yeah, when I was in primary school. And then when I moved at that side, I stayed first year, second year. So I stayed in Mamkulu, but it was difficult, man, to say there's an extra child, there's an extra stomach. It's something that was not discussed. So bengi baby zangan, so it was not intentional to say, yeah, let's bring Bong on this side, And now being a father, I understand to say, yeah, it made sense, But now for me, it was a matter of saying I didn't like rejection. I was like, I feel segregated. I feel this is not fair. This is this, And it was just part of the journey. And I met Umam Rabrok. Umam Rabrok was one of the people who took me in.
Okay.
And then was teaching me also aftercare. We'll teach kids about Bible, about Pegel and so I loved going there because and also we are learning about Bible, also awareness, self-awareness, and all of those things, So she's one of the people who took me in and and groomed me. Counseling for me to deal with the passing of my parents. I never dealt with it until I met her.
Wow.
And then growing from all those shapes and forms, and then I became that man. And then Magahamba, we left so that was the journey of me staying alone. And in the process of staying alone, I've had a lot of people trying to adopt me. It's like, a lot of families would try to take me in. But I'll always get to that family. I'll be grateful also. But you'll always understand it's difficult to take Umtan. And I was self-aware also, I was very verbal. I had that freedom of, I was not disrespectful. I've always been respectful, but also I was very present in terms of speaking,
expressing,
and the level of maturity of other things, questioning them, So I believe I'll always challenge the norm when I get to a household. Not intentionally, but there's always the time that will come whereby we have now to speak about it,
Wow.
I remember there was one place on a Sunday.
Because I'm washing
the day before. but angiwashanga izitsha because umama wantu walapha was like, hayi Bongani namantombazana la, why kanjalo kanti ufuna ukuwasha izitsha ngazeka. And then they knock for me ebusuku, wozowasha izitsha. I'm like, guys, there's no way.
I was ready to do this,
to church,
and then,
you know?
yeah.
So I didn't go. It made sense. Mangibuya ngithola impahla zami. And he like, these people, they just want an excuse.
So you thought like bakuphile.
No, but that's the truth, you know. It was just one of those things which they were looking for that opportunity. And I don't even blame them.
Yeah.
The problem was then, I cried that day. I called a friend of mine, Tumsane. Like Tumsane, dog, and I stayed there a couple of months until I went back to finding a place. But it was bad because Bangsugela, you know, I would walk from Takane towards the Springs. I would walk to go to school. So why Bangsugela bafuna nami, you know, if
and
they can't
only to find that they
thing.
can't handle.
You know, there's a lot of dynamics when you're grooming a child, you know? And I was a teenager, but bengajoli bengasumntana ohluphayo ukuthi ngiyajola ngiyaphuza. I was like, hey, I was about umntana right, to be honest. You know? So, but I think it was part of the journey to say this has to happen. This is the time you need to go at this, you know. And I learned a whole lot of things.
So I think this journey also explains why you want to heal people, because you do know pain exists and how it feels to be rejected and how it feels like there's no hope.
Yes.
Wow. Now you know manje kubuya wonke lama ifinish mawidla ngathi yabuya manje la endlebeni ukuthi now it makes sense now. Good, it's not just only talent, it's everything in you that you are expressing there.
That's true.
You know? Oh wow! I think you also need to write a book about your life or a shy movie.
Something.
Bongani the sex, and we go with it because I think there's a lot of inspiration, especially on how you've dealt with your challenges and all the, you know, being ostracized and deserted and all of that. Yeah, what do you think about that?
No, definitely. I think there will be a movie about me.
Yeah,
I think it's a journey and it has levels in terms of when I get to a certain level of influence. It'll make sense to execute such plans, you know.
Yeah.
They cannot be prematurely because people won't receive them the way they have to. So in due time, you know, when things are ready, things will happen. Wow. Yes.
And what can you say, Mhlambe, in terms of we see there's a new minister in arts and in sports, arts and culture in South Africa, and people always have this thing, I am artist, Ashona are poor.
Yeah.
What can we do to change the narrative
of artists dying poor?
Yeah.
First, I'm politics. I don't even know the ministers.
Is it?
Yeah, no, I'm not big on politics unless something is trending. Then,
okay.
Like umthetho what trendly in flag, you know. So I'm like, oh, there's umthetho, but I'm not big on that.
Okay.
And the reason I'm not big on that is because I always had a fight with my friends, or a friend of mine who was like, I had a fight with him actually, where it's like, yeah, I'm like, why? Why am I so I'm like, I don't see a need for that. I'm like, that's not for us, which is not for us, you know. But the youth as in South Africa, we've been taught to depend on government so much. You look at how toxic Twitter is. People are fighting Glusu government. All these things, all this energy goes in terms of Glusu government. And I'm not saying government doesn't have responsibilities that it has to execute. But we live in a corrupt country. What do you expect? Like the change they want to see and the noise that we are making, it's going to take years before we get there. In other words, the country is going to come crumbling down. It's going to fall apart for us to understand the importance of building and for us to understand the importance of honesty in that sphere, in that space, in terms of politics and all that. So we are wasting our time instead of us building. So, which is one of the things that worries me the most in terms of what I see the other nations, I see the Jews, I see the whites, I see the what? The blacks, most of us are not building. We're building things that sustain us now, but they're not for generations. We cannot pass them down, you know? And that's the biggest problem we're having as black people to say, Asaki, now I'm talking to the youth, Guti, if it's about business, government, there's nothing that we are leaving behind. We are not preparing for the future. Wow. And I wonder if things zishintsha and the power moves from black people to another race, what's going to happen with black people when they feel guilty? Now they're being, because we've always felt, even with this freedom or democracy, we always felt, yeah, but black people, a workplace, black people, this, black, but it's not our things. It's like we're not owning anything. We're not building companies that can hire our kind. And not that there hasn't been people who have built companies. There are people, but I'm just saying the majority.
Yeah.
It's things that we are taking from other people. I would see parents. Hey guys, this is very controversial. But anyway, I'm going to say it. I'll see parents fighting Afrikaners in terms of how they're treating their kids. And I'm like, when are we black people going to build our own schools?
I love what you're saying.
Yeah, and execute this thing, and where they're going to feel welcomed and all of these things. Like, yeah, white schools are better. And that's not even a lie. Yes, white schools are better. They execute their shandies well. But when are we going to build our own thing? Where are these leaders who are going to come up and say, yeah, I want to build a school that's going to accommodate the kids. I want to build a school that, my wish. What is my wish, bro? My wish is to take kids and take them to some sort of a camp for 10 years of their life, for 15 years, where we prepare those kids, whether it's 20 kids or 50 kids or 100 kids, where they are prepared for the future and not for what's happening now.
Wow.
Because the schooling system, which was introduced, I don't know what years ago, it's only preparing kids for now. The problems kids are facing, the funding, what are the universities, those things have been happening. So what do you think? The kids go to school, come back with a degree, they can't get a job, or everything that's happening into a pinda. No, but there are no jobs. But there's into a pinda. In other words, there's something wrong with the formula if we keep facing the same problems.
Wow.
So we need a new kind of generation that's gonna come out and say, this is what we're owning. This is what we're doing. This is, you understand? And not wait for the government, guys. In the government, youngsters, just, I tax. Like, what can we do?
We're shifting blame and
like,
responsibilities as well.
Figure a community, and then you find potholes. Then people are fighting the municipality. Yeah, municipality must do this. But if we work as a community to say, Istrat said must look good, are we gonna fail to do that by ourselves?
We can.
Like we can do it.
Yeah.
A household every month for 12 months, you keep at 20 rand, and then it's and whatever money, and then but that's the thing with us black people, we're not in a place of taking control. We don't want to take control. Do you understand? I can't speak for the other races because I don't know them.
No, but black to black, people, yeah.
We're not taking control of anything. Like, we always have someone to blame. We always have someone to blame. Yeah, it's because of my circumstances. It's because there are people who have in worse conditions than Tina. You understand? If I am to speak about other nations, how they came about, it's so like, yeah, too in the back corner, because you're like, guys, what's the plan? And for me to say there's someone out there who says, yeah, but there's a plan, there's a vision. It's not vivid. We do not know it. If I would ask Umtana, where are you going as a black person? They don't know because it's not out there. The plan is not out there. If I believe it, write it and let it be what? Let it be clear.
So that everybody can run with it.
You understand? We don't know that as a black nation. I go to school, cut the scholar. Metric ubalulekile umntana is growing up, spends the 10 years or 12 years asesikoleni maqeda mama ngifuna ukuya esikoleni. Bro, there are a lot of people. I knew life kuthi, hey, siku trap la, grade 9. I was like, hey, this is not, because I understood life. I understand responsibility. I'm like, we're in a trap la. This thing, shooting a mama come, because being man say primary, ngifuna ukuqeda grade 7.
Okay.
Ngaqala secondary, ngafuna ukuqeda grade 12. No. University, and after that, that's when you start looking at life,
seeing the life for what it is now.
And then I knew there's a problem in the system. My kids, I'm not gonna lie. Once most of the doors open, my kids are gonna be homeschooled. I don't want them to be part of the system that I know for a fact
what it will produce.
You understand? they can go bafundu ukukhuluma isilungu because isilungu is the primary language in terms of everything that we're going to be doing. You know, we are moving into a digital space. AI is doing everything. And most people, they're not even aware because la ekulokishini data must access for social media. And there's nothing wrong about that, but they don't have enough to say, I'm going to research about ChatGPT, I'm going to research about AI, copy AI and all these things. They don't have an idea. And I said, Tina, we are privileged enough to see all these things happening. And we're like, guys, a lot of people are going to lose their jobs. A lot of people are going to, all these things. Like, imagine you went to school to learn how to code all these years. And now there's an AI, which means I can prompt and then it can produce probably fairly semi results to what you can do. But I'm just telling an AI because I was able to speak English with it and prompt, tell it what to do. It's incredible and it's insane. And you're like, guys, we need to wake up. But I am like, we need to wake up as a nation. And I mean, I always try because I look at my kids and I'm like, it starts with me. Like, apart from the other people, like, can my kids be that? Can my kids, when they fail in the next 10 to 15 years, where they have something where they're like, but I can make anything happen. I'm only failing because I want to fail. Because I want to have a taste of, but like, I want them to be able to access and do anything by themselves. Bruh, Imali is not limited to the 12 years that you're going to spend at school. Do you know, Umshana Wam is like, yeah, so uncle, I'm college, bese, yamba span. And I'm like, yeah, starting salary, lapana 20,000. Like, yeah, 20,000. Like, okay. Imagine English. Like, yeah, you're in uncle, 20,000. He doesn't know what's the value of 20,000. You'll never know until you have 20,000 or access to 20,000 to say, am I 20,000 in none?
I
Do you understand?
Mean, but no.
Yeah, you know, and you can't blame them because really we don't even have that kind of thing where we're giving them opportunity to understand what money is and what money can do, what our expenses, what it means to be responsible now, what it means with your tenga something, then you understand what 20,000 pay man. There's tax, there's this. Imagine with 20,000 tax my figure, how much are you getting after all the deductions? If you someone like, bruh, I even forget the primary question you asked, but yeah, as black people, but
also I think you're very versatile in terms of your approach to life itself. To say responsibility lies with us.
Yes,
we can't blame the people who were before and the people who are no longer here. It's our time now for us to make changes.
But I'm not even interested in the conversation. Like, I can tell you Tana Kulu Mama workshop. Yo. Yeah, we need to have a workshop and discuss the what this. Guys, I hate that. I hate this workshop.
I'm talk shops.
We're not gaining anything.
Sure.
There are no results. It takes forever. Let's have action, and then we talk while we are building.
We are doing.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
Government to the budget yokuthi abantu bayokhuluma, to have speakers coming and standing bakhuluma. There's nothing. We're not gaining anything. Yakhulunya. Probably khona bagainayo. Like, it's so even difficult.
But what is they doing? Because if there's something funding, they gain, we'll say konta bayenza abantu.
Do you know how hard is it to get funding, bro? Melu bribe someone. Then you get what you need. But nje yakhulunya, but guys, but I can't. But yes, Bongani sex.
Makhulukhulu, thank you very much, man. Uyahleka futhi mfethu. Ungayi ukukhuluma. Sizokubiza futhi uzokhuluma. You make a lot of sense in your speaking, because we also need to change paradigms and influence what is happening today. We also want to thank you for being, here and for honoring us. You are one of the gigantic guys that we see, and the future is bright. We celebrate you now. It's finally as I say primary, but what can you say maybe to I know there are a lot of people who are following you, who love your music. What can you say, just last words to them?
This is a say by Denzel Washington. I hope I remember it. What? You cannot start with that. Actually, I forgot it. But basically, guys, we need to push we need to push the boundaries. We need to make things happen. We are responsible for the tomorrow. If things fail and crumble, we are the ones who are responsible. That's what I would say. I forgot the quote by Denzel Washington, but yeah.
But at least you've mentioned Denzel uyazi naye
Yeah,
lapho ukuthi
bengifuna ukuyisho
uBongani
le
beyafuna
quote
ukuquote
yes.
kodwa nje okusalayo ukuthi he did
Yes.
mention we need a quote
Most
pending.
definitely.
Please do come back again
Mathamba, we'll come back.
and share mfethu ukubona mawudlala laphana. We always have, you know, this thing ngaze uBongani ubuyaphi, and
Yes.
today we are answered and we are really inspired, and yeah, we think God has favored us with your presence. May all the plans that you have, you know, prosper. And yeah, I agree with you mfethu 100% that let's act.
Yes.
You know, let's take action. It's time for action. I know there was a guy called Papa Action in another series. So we need to be known as people who take action. Thank you very much, and may God bless you and may God be with you.
I received, Bram. Thank you very much, guys, for having me. Tulas MTV.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Hi, good boy. Thank you so much, man.